Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Monday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a good show lined up today. We're going to be joined here in just a second by JC, recap what happened over the weekend. And in the second portion of the show, we'll be joined by Gators Gymnastics coach Jenny Rowland, talking about them heading out the 16th and 17th of this month, the end of the week, heading out to Texas for the national championship. But in the meantime, let's go to the Titan More hotline. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Hey, what a good morning to you and a great weekend that we just had. Lots of rain in the area. I was at the beach, lots of rain there on Sunday, but it did rain out the Masters, and that's what we all looked forward to on Sunday, wasn't it, QB? I mean, it was kind of boring until it got interesting there in the last few holes, but good from Hideki. I mean, very consistent golfer the last 4 or 5 years, and he deserves to win.
Yeah, 29 years old. Now, he probably will make – you think he'll make over $100 million in endorsements?
My God. Well, in Japan, he's going to own the continent, or he's going to own the country. He'll probably light the Olympic flame in the Summer Olympics. We heard somebody say that on the broadcast. I agree. What this also does is, the Masters is probably very pleased with the fact that Hideki Matsuyama won this, because as big as their international footprint is, this is just going to compound how much bigger the Masters is worldwide, and it's going to open a lot of doors for golfers in that part of the world, I think, because he's going to be their hero.
Well, what's crazy is a Japanese girl won the Augusta National Women's Amateur last week,
and he was the low am 10 years ago, almost to the day. He was a low amateur finisher in 2011, so just about 10 years in one day. It's been for Hideki to get on the final stage there at Butler Cabin, and afterwards in the big. The thing is, he's going to have that translator now when they get the big. As he has the translator with him. That same guy's with him at every tour stop. I know. Well, we're going to hear more from Hideki, I guess, because now he's a major champion and certainly another international champion at a tournament that's got a huge international footprint, and great. That's what they like, I'm sure. And I love to see first-time winners. I really do.
Yeah. In our golf picks, I win the golf picks. My man Xander had a chance. He made a run. 16. He thought he hit a perfect shot on 16.
Yeah. It's too bad, QB, because really he had a really nice round after those first 5 holes on the front 9, where he goes bogey, bogey, double bogey. So he goes 4 over in the first 5 holes. I think. I'm not sure if he birdied 1 or not, but he had a very interesting.
He birdied 2.
Okay, so he birdied 2. So he's 3 over after 5 holes. But the point is that he really had an adventuresome round, but he played beautiful golf, with 6 birdies, 4 consecutive on the back 9 to put himself in position. And he must have just caught a wind gust, as you say. And it's a shame, because that was going to tighten it up, because Hideki then bogeys the hole, hitting a very passive shot to the top shelf of that green, where the putt is no joke going down that slope. So, good for Hideki. Nobody really put a charge. I thought Xander was doing that. He almost holed it out on 15 QB out of the bunker, and that would have made it even closer. It would have made it a one-stroke match, and maybe Xander hits it more toward the right of that green instead of going at the pin. But at any rate, Hideki pulled it out, and you could tell he was nervous. You could tell he was breathing heavy on 18, but he hit some beautiful drives on 17 and 18. And really, I think he won this tournament after the rain delay on Saturday. Yeah. But the way he played coming out of the gate on number 11, birdieing that hole. I mean, he just played magnificent golf after the rain delay, which I think helped him.
Yeah, and Will Zalatoris is a tremendous story at 24 years old, 6'3", 165 pounds, and he hits it as far as anybody on tour.
It's amazing. He's that set leverage, that club head speed, and he's going to be a name we hear from. $1 million some odd paycheck now, and he'll get massive endorsements as well. Matsuyama, though, is about to take over Asia, and they will throw a lot of money at him. I mean, he is going to be the hero. He is the hero. First Japanese player to win a major.
They were talking on the broadcast about Asai Aoki and those guys. Yeah. JC, I got to play a round of golf. The NFL used to have a deal up in New Jersey with the senior tour where we played in their event, but all the money we were playing for went to charity. But I played around with Asai Aoki. Didn't speak a lick of English. Not a lick.
Yeah.
Neither does Hideki.
Well, they sure do. I think Hideki can understand certain words that are said to him because I think he kind of got some of the questions. I laughed out loud when the chairman asked him, "How's it feel to be the first Japanese player to win the Masters?" And he said, "I feel very good."
No, he said, "I'm happy."
That's right. He said, "I'm happy." But you know what? Hey, good for him. By nature, I think Japanese players are somewhat reserved. They're held back a little bit. That's just the way I think they are, and they've done great things for that country on the golf course, but never yet have won a Masters. They did have a TPC winner in Siwoo Kim. They've had a couple of really good players come from Asia, but this is the biggest win ever. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at Twitter last night after the tournament was over, and a couple of people were like, that shot on 16 is going to haunt Xander the rest of his life. Look, if you saw his interview after the game, after the tournament,
yes,
he was smiling about it because he thought he hit a perfect shot, and there was a wind gust that caught it. That dude has so much game. Nothing's going to bother him. He will be in every major.
He has had a lot of really good tournaments, and he's come so close. It's just a matter of time for him. He can't be more than 25, 26 years old, too. I mean, he's young, right? I think we're going to see him in the winner's circle at a major, and maybe this year even, because when it seems to be the big tournaments, that you seem to see that name up on the top 10 leaderboard pretty consistently. And I think consistent is a great word to describe Matsuyama, even though this was a breakthrough win for him. He's always played very consistently and always been a contender in many tournaments that he plays in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I know a lot of people, it got exciting there after hole 15.
It did. I don't know. How do you nuke that shot into the back pond like that? But I guess he hit it too low. And there's no stopping that ball once it bounces.
Sometimes you just hit it too solid. And man, those guys are so damn good. It's crazy.
Well, we were close on the prediction of the -11. I mean, if he doesn't bogey the last hole, that's the winning score. But nevertheless, the 73, when you have a big lead, is good enough, I guess, because there's nobody that really made a charge. Schauffele tried. He did. You take away that front nine, maybe he goes one over on the front, and it's a whole different ball game. Zalatoris, too. If you look at his round on the back nine, he kind of tightened up also, and he 3-putted 13, which is a birdie hole. He should have if he could have 2-putted 13 and birdied it, well, he saved par on 18. Maybe that's the difference in this thing. It could all be one shot, one putt.
Well, you think about cases. It after Xander birdies 12, they go to 13. He hits a monster drive. Matsuyama hits a streamer up into the trees. It bounces out into the fairway. So you got to have the breaks. But congratulations to Hideki. I like him. I like his demeanor. Yeah, and good for him. Like I said, we've known about Hideki a long time. He won us a little bit of money in a Calcutta at one time.
He and Justin Rose. Rosie kind of went the opposite way after the rain delay because he had probably the most impressive round of all of the players during the tournament on the first day when he did what he did on the back nine and probably what was the hardest conditions to play of the 4 rounds. And he just kind of fell apart there in the on the weekend. And so did Justin Thomas, my guy. God.
Oh, my goodness. What hole was it?
It was a triple.
He just blew up.
Yeah, he blew up.
What hole was it? I'm trying to remember now.
It was on Saturday. I want to say it was 17 maybe on the back. He had it. Well, maybe it wasn't 17. I saw it. I remember, but that ended his tournament.
Yeah.
And he was in the running, but he just kind of flamed out. Sure did.
Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. April's your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with JC on the Titan Tomorrow hotline from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be joined in the second portion of the day's program. Jenny Rowland talking about gymnastics. They're going to try to win their, I think it'll be the 4th national championship in Gator gymnastics history.
QB, yes. I just looked it up. He tripled 13, which is a birdie hole on Saturday. And
He
had tripled 13.
I can't remember. He had to lay up for whatever reason, and then he basically chunked his wedge into the creek. Did you see Billy Horschel hit it in there on Saturday and Sunday? Hit it in Ray's Creek.
No, I missed that. But Thomas making triple. I mean, that's really a par 4 the way these guys play it. And it's a birdie hole. It's the easiest birdie hole on the course, and he makes triple. So it's amazing.
But you got to somehow on Twitter look at Saturday's video of Billy. Billy, he takes off his shoes, rolls his pant legs up, and he walks up the bank to the green to see what he needs to do. As he's walking back into the creek, his feet come right from under him. You know how when you slip and you fall right on your butt? Yes. He did that. It was pretty damn funny. You got to see it. So
Billy. Yeah. It's been a good year for Billy already, though.
Yes. Okay. So, JC, moving on from the Masters,
how about the
Gators lose a series in baseball to Tennessee.
Right.
They almost got swept. Armstrong comes off the bench. It's a 3-run homer, I think, in the 7th or the 8th to put them ahead. So they at least get one win there. But
how about Scott? The scoreless relief, almost 5 innings of scoreless relief to get the job done yesterday.
But there's got to be some concern when it comes to baseball. Right now, you look at the SEC. Vanderbilt and Tennessee sit at the top at 9-3 each. South Carolina's 8-4. Florida and Kentucky are both 6-6 in league play. And then you got Georgia at 5-7. Missouri's at 4-8. You look at the West. Arkansas leads the West 9-3. They just took a series. I don't know if they swept Ole Miss, but they took the series in Oxford. Mississippi State.
They swept.
They beat Auburn yesterday, like 19-10.
They swept them. Yeah.
I mean, you think Gator fans are concerned about baseball right now?
Well, I think Gator fans are maybe, if not concerned, they're somewhat surprised. I don't think Florida's road record right now. I think there's something like 2-6 on the road in the conference, and it's not very good. And you would have expected more than that. But I was encouraged to see Scott. I think he retired something like 14 out of the 16 batters he faced. He was really good in relief. They needed that kind of performance because it was a 1-run game. And the clutch pinch hit 3-run dinger won it for him. But yeah, I think, you were hopeful. You would be hopeful to win a series at Tennessee, get 2 out of 3. You at least got 1 and didn't get swept. But I'm surprised at Tennessee so far. I think they are the surprise in the East, but they'll be playing Vanderbilt next weekend. So that's going to be very difficult for them. But they're playing confident baseball, and I think Florida will get it turned around. I just think it's surprising. Florida just hasn't hit the ball like we wanted to see this year.
Here's my take on Florida baseball, because I watched a little bit of the game. I don't know if it was I was flipping through the channels, and I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, it was at Tennessee. Boy, they got a student section, JC, that will heckle the crap out of folks. They were loud.
It's natural. They don't like Florida in anything.
But my point is, the few games that I've seen us play this year, it's something I can't put my finger on. I don't know if it's the closeness of the team's not there. They don't believe, because, baseball, there's a lot of chatter usually in the dugouts, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't see that when I watch the Florida games for whatever reason. Yeah. And it's almost like the team had such high expectations as the unanimous number 1 team in America, that they're still in kind of like shock, like, what the hell's going on? Why are we not winning and playing well? And it surprises me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what most of Florida fans are feeling right now, somewhat surprised at the way it's gone. But it's not by any stretch of the imagination over. They're going to have a postseason opportunity, and they're playing in the best conference in America. So keep in mind that even though the Gators aren't in first place in the best conference in America, they're playing the best teams in America right now, and that should help them as they get ready for postseason down the road here. But what we want is to see them perform well enough to host a regional. That's the first goal, I think. They say it's winning the SEC. Forget about that. I don't think that means one thing.
It's crucial to be one of the top 8 seeds, but we're not a top 8 seed right now.
Well, not right now, no. And that's the goals. I think that winning the SEC tournament, well, obviously winning the SEC tournament would get them a top 8 seed, but that's a long shot goal at this point, I think, because of how good the conference is. But, becoming a host team in a regional and maybe a top 8 is the goal. That's the goal.
Well, that is the goal, but we're going to have to play better, lights out to get to being top 8 seed. Because right now you got Florida State. I think it's tomorrow night or either Wednesday night, which we've already lost to them once.
Right.
Then I think Missouri comes to town.
That's a good
team. And then we got to play Vanderbilt the following week. So we've got to sweep Missouri. I
agree. And that's a good thing that they're not playing Vanderbilt this upcoming weekend. They get Missouri instead. So,
JC, did you happen to see the 2 best venues in all of college baseball are at Mississippi State and Ole Miss? Yeah. Did you see how many people were at Ole Miss?
I mean, if there's a pandemic, it's not in Mississippi, baby.
No.
Because that place was packed. But what really is entertaining is when a ball goes over the fence and an Ole Miss player hits a home run, it's a shower. You need an umbrella out in the outfield because
a lot of beers being thrown up.
It's kind of like when LSU scores a touchdown at Tiger Stadium. It's the same thing. I mean, these guys are paying $6, $8, $7, $9, whatever it is for a beer. And it's going up in the air and it's right back to the – although I'm sure in the outfield they kind of bring their own at some point in some places. But,
Mississippi State you can bring your own.
Yeah, it's a big party out there. So it's quite an experience at Mississippi. But the place was packed. I mean, they had 10,000 fans sitting neck and neck, wall to wall.
Yeah. Yeah. So if our listeners and viewers have not seen, that was all over Twitter, the home run. I think one of the Ole Miss guys hit a home run on Saturday to right field. Lefty pulled it. And it looks like the fountains at Kansas City Royal Ballpark.
Yes, it was. You need an umbrella out there in the outfield. And you certainly don't care what you smell like leaving a baseball game at Mississippi. So, I think it's just a big, fun, entertaining type thing to do. It's a spring sport. The weather's great. And right now, those folks over there pretty much do what they want.
Yeah. So big game. Big weekend for Gator baseball. They need to beat FSU, although the midweek games don't really mean anything, but have to sweep the Missouri Tigers.
I agree.
Some other news and notes, transfer portal. Noah Locke has transferred and committed to Louisville. And then JC, your squad picked up a really good player, Noah Gurley from Furman. Here's the problem with Alabama right now, though, I read, JC. Mm-hmm. They have 16 kids that are, quote, on scholarship, but you can only have 13 on scholarship.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to get rid of some kids.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. They got a lot of players on that roster. So, but I know this was a guy that everybody was looking at. You've mentioned him numerous times on previous shows. And so obviously Nate Oates has made an impression. And he's made an impression on people.
One of the reasons he's going to Alabama is because Furman has played Alabama the last 2 years, and he
likes it.
He was buddies with some of the players on the team because over half of Alabama's team is made up of transfers already in the transfer pool.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
It's like that throughout the country. I read some tweets about Dick Vitale. He's really upset about the transfer portal. He thinks kids should have to sit out unless the coach leaves.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with college basketball, some of which they can't control. They cannot control what the NBA does or doesn't do in terms of eligibility for the one and doneers. And to me, that has always been the biggest problem. And it's a problem for the college organization. It's not a problem for the NBA. They don't care. And it's up to them whether or not these players are going to be eligible after their first year. In Major League in baseball, You go there, you're there for 3 years. In football, you're there for 3 years. You can get drafted in your second year, but you can't leave until your third's over. And same with football, if I'm not mistaken. So, those are the leagues above college that have set that example. The NBA couldn't care less. And I'm finding out, watching these these ESPN ratings numbers, a lot of people are starting to care less about that too. So,
I mean, between Major League Baseball and the NBA, nobody really cares, in my opinion, until postseason play starts.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. But even last year in the finals for the NBA, when the Lakers played Miami, their ratings were down 66% in the finals. Now, granted, this was an odd year. They were playing in an empty building, and there was no atmosphere and nothing. It was just basically a bubble and so forth. There were no games in LA. There were no games in Miami. So I understand that. But the viewership has just dropped like a rock in an aquarium. I mean, it's just going right down the toilet. I mean, it's unbelievable to me.
For all your in-depth Gator recruiting news, go to firstand10florida.com. Use promo code 2for2 right now. Get 2 months for just $2. Firstand10florida.com, your premier Florida Gators recruiting news source. All right, JC, we're going to get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. From now until May 31st, get our preventative maintenance plan for $169 and save almost 40% off the normal cost. Also, any maintenance schedule between now and May 31st will be entered to win a Nest thermostat installation. All right, so here's what happened. In 1992 at the Masters, you know what happened in the 92 Masters?
92 Masters. Oh, wow. Well, in the 90s, I think a lot of 98 when Couples and damn it, it's just escaped me.
That was pretty good.
Tell me about 92.
You were right.
It was Couples, yeah.
Yeah, which,
Freddie,
so it's the 56th, in 1992, the 56th U.S. Masters at Augusta National. Fred Couples wins his only major title, which I didn't realize that.
That's amazing to me. Yeah.
Two strokes ahead of the 76 champion Ray Floyd.
And I remember the shot he hit on 12 that was going for the wall. It was short. It was rolling.
Oh, right. I remember
and
that.
It stopped. It didn't go in the lake. I don't know how it didn't go in the lake.
Speaking of that, during the rain delay on Saturday, they replayed in 2019 when Tiger let everybody else hit it in the water on 12.
Right. Yeah.
I forgot. 4 of the final 5 players hit it in the water.
I know. It's like they lock up or something. It's
like, okay, we're going to let Tiger win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 58-yard shot or something. It's crazy, isn't it? And, okay, so in 98, Mark O'Meara beat Freddie Couples. In 92, Freddie Couples won. That's correct. There you go. 98 was Mark O'Meara. Okay. Yeah. And Freddie was the runner-up. He was like a stroke behind Mark O'Meara, who made a putt on 18 to 1. Yeah.
So I'm sure all our loyal listeners and viewers are interested. How do you play Amen Corner down at Golden Ocala? Do you ever hit it in the water there?
Yes, I've also hit it left in the creek on 13. Well, into the woods, I should say, on 13. I have not hit it in Rays Creek, though. The one hole I never play well at Golden Ocala, and there are some I play well, but the one I never, ever, ever play well is the road hole, the British Open set, the par 4 that's got the wall going out into the middle. It's long, but there's no hotel there. So, I mean, all you got to do is just get.
What does that have to do with the hole?
Well, that hole, the road hole at St. Andrews, is famous because they drive the ball literally over the roof of a hotel.
Right, but what does that have to do with but you not being able to play it well?
I don't know why I can't play a damn hole. It's probably because it's long and it's hard and the green is ridiculous. And
the green is almost like 50 yards long.
It's crazy, that green. So I don't know if I've ever even parred that hole for that matter. But Amen Corner's gotten me a few times. I've parred it a few, but I probably played it over par more than I have played it at par. That's for sure.
Before we let you go, JC, FSU had their spring game this weekend. Apparently, Mackenzie Milton, the kid that used to play at UCF, played pretty well. Yeah,
what is it? Been 2 years since he had that horrible leg injury, and that's a long rehab. But the kid always had ability. He always had talent. A Hawaiian-born football player. They've put out a couple good quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota, Tua. So I think I think this kid should breathe some life into that program because Lord knows they need something over there. And I think they'll get better. But we've been saying this for how many years now that they're going to get better, and they just seem to be average or bad.
Did you see where Gus Malzahn?
He's ready.
Spring practice.
Yeah,
and they put everybody's Twitter handle on the back of their jersey.
They have, and he's also belly aching now about why Florida won't give him a home and home, why Florida State won't give him a home and home. They win one damn game over a Auburn Tigers team that did not even care to be there. Not to make that an excuse, but that is the truth. Kerryon Johnson's not even playing in the game. They win that one fluke game in the Peach Bowl, and they're the national champions, right? But
and wasn't Gus coaching that team?
I guess was. But I think UCF is competitive. They should be in a Power 5 conference. I mean, the school's big enough, right? I don't know if their football following is, but I think it could be. And certainly I think they could find a place in the Big 12 very easily or some conference. I mean, if you put every Power 5 conference at 16 teams, that would mean adding 2 to the Big 10, adding 2 to the SEC, adding 6 to the Big 12. If you made every Power 5 conference a 16-team league, then UCF and Brigham Young and USF, these schools would be in a Power 5 conference. But who knows if that'll ever happen.
JC, are you going to travel to the Alabama spring game next week?
Yeah. No. This kind of stuff doesn't interest me, although they'll probably have 70,000 fans in the stadium.
Your coach isn't really concerned about spring ball. He was in Augusta on Sunday.
That's right. He was the GOAT was at Augusta. And, I think it's the story with Alabama this year is going to be obviously the quarterback position. That's going to be where, the big competition is. And they got a couple kids.
There is no competition. It's Bryce Young's team.
It is today. But they've had a couple of other guys try to make a move in spring practice. Tyson? Well, there's another one too. Saban was talking about him. But anyway, it is Bryce Young's team, certainly. And, he'll get his shot. And if he doesn't just have a ridiculously bad summer, then he'll start against the Miami Hurricanes in Atlanta. Did you know they were playing the Miami Hurricanes to start the season in Atlanta?
I forgot about that. That's Atlanta?
Right. It's in Atlanta.
Are you going?
That one I will be at. Yep.
So on Wednesday, we're going to have our Peach Lane Dentistry golf picks. I win this week. Where to Harbor Town? Yeah,
it's always the one at Hilton Head, Harbor Town. Sure. That's for the plaid jacket. The plaid jacket, and the big sword or something, conquistador. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's a huge, ridiculous trophy and a plaid jacket. Very tight golf course. Not a lot of the guys play that course. It's for the real accurate hitters. Of course, most players on the tour are accurate, but this is a tight course. I mean, this is a tight one. It's kind of like the Colonial in Texas. Not everybody plays it. But it's now one of those in between tournaments before we get to the U.S. Open.
You just talking about.
Wait a minute! Isn't the PGA next in May?
Yes.
Okay, so
it's at Kiowa.
Okay, so right. So next month we get the PGA. Fantastic. That's right.
Yeah. So pound for pound.
Oh,
would you put your money on the longest hitter, pound for pound, on DeChambeau or Will Zalatoris?
No. If it's pound for pound, you got to go with Will, don't you?
Oh, it's not even close.
Close. This guy wears. If he went to J.C. Penney's and got some Levi's, he would be looking at the 27s and the 28s and the 26s.
Yep, that's what they said.
Although he'd have to get a 38 long or something.
He's 6'3", 165.
So we got
he's as big as I was when I signed. He's the exact size I was when I signed my scholarship here.
Well, then you love the guy for sure. I mean, he looked like you could blow on him and he'd fall over. But man, could he hit the ball? A great weekend for him. He had no status on any major tour, 0 stats, and now the guy gets invited back next year for this deal, gets $1 million. He's going to be in the top 125 for sure now on the money list, and he'll be playing in plenty of tournaments this year. It's a wonderful weekend for him too. And
There's
one stroke was just one stroke. If he just didn't 3-putt 13, you never know. But he did save par on 18.
Hideki 3-putted 13 on Saturday after the rain delay.
Yeah, and listen, Hideki probably grinds a little harder on 18, knowing that if he had to make par, he probably could have from wherever. He was 138 out uphill you hit that pitching wedge, or he could have even hit a 9-iron, just laid it up there at top and two putted and walked away with a par, but he kind of popped it up. I knew nerves had a lot to do with that, but he hit a beautiful sand shot out there and then two putted. So there you have it. That's the tournament.
All right, JC, have a good week. We'll talk to you on Wednesday, my man.
Wednesday it is. Okay.
Hey, folks, let me tell you about one of our new products, one of our new sponsors, G-Tech Clean. G-Tech Clean is your complete germ protection. It's EPA approved to kill COVID-19 and kills 99.9% of all germs and viruses, black mold, and also deodorizes. It's the safest, affordable way to clean and sanitize your business, no matter if it's a gym, school, retail store, or office. Use it in your home, anywhere from the bathroom to the kids' room. It's formulated to provide 24/7 protection and is over 30 times more durable than any other cleaners. Try G-Tech at home as well. I use G-Tech Clean to keep my office clean of any germs and viruses, and so should you. We're going to take our first time out of the program. When we come back, we'll be joined by Florida Gymnastics head coach, Jenny Rowland, talking about her squad heading off to try to win a national title. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Tim, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Le Macaron, Sushi Hana, Bass Pro Shopping, coming June of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're going to be joined by a lady who's done a lot of celebrating. Jenny Rowland, the head coach of the Florida Gators Gymnastics team. Good morning, Jenny. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Can't complain. Okay, before we get into what's going on with your team right now, we talk all kinds of sports on my show. And of course, we've talked about, scholarships, and we've had some questions. Are all of your girls on the gymnastics teams on full scholarships?
So the majority of them. So in gymnastics, scholarships are full. You cannot separate them or, put them on percentages. So we have 12 full scholarships awarded in women's gymnastics, and we have 14 on our team.
And question, what's the reasoning why you can't break it up? Because I know like Tim Walton has to do it with his girls. Lacrosse probably has to do it as well. Why can't you separate it in gymnastics?
It's an NCAA. It's a head count sport.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk about, before we get into the regionals and heading out for the national championship. Mm-hmm. Everyone, it's been a tough year with COVID. How have your girls handled it? And you as a coach, how difficult has it been dealing with all of that?
Oh, that's a loaded question. And the answer is yes, it really has been a lot. A typical, season for gymnastics is very challenging, and very demanding. Adding COVID on top of that, it just heightens everything. However, from day one, this team really has hit this challenge head on and has not veered, swayed. They've just been very diligent and, you know what, accepted this is what it is and this is what we need to do to get there. And let's turn this obstacle into an opportunity. And that's really, you know, this team's, I'd say, kind of their motto, their motivation this year. You know, same for me, really just reminding everybody to continue to take it one day at a time and be mindful of the moments that we're able to cherish, because we never know when it's going to be taken away.
At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Jenny Rowland here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. She is your SEC Coach of the Year once again. Your squad was, I get preseason number one. You're still the number one team in America. From a, I don't want to say pressure standpoint, but obviously we set the bar high here at the University of Florida. Has that been an issue, being the number one team the entire year?
Obviously, from how I have seen my athletes respond every single week, no. We continue to be mindful and train like we're the underdogs. I mean, that's how we prepare every weekend. Rankings are awesome and great, but you know, it can change from week to week. So you know what, we're trying to stay focused on the orange and blue and do what we're capable of doing and controlling. And this team really has responded to that real well. So
for the gymnastics team, are they allowed to come back next year if they want to and not lose a year of eligibility?
So our seniors can come back next year, and their scholarships would not count towards our 12 scholarships. From that point forward, anybody that wants to come back will still be part of our 12 scholarships. But this upcoming season, we have 3 seniors, and I cannot confirm nor deny that they will or will be back. It's a decision that, you know, a discussion that we've had, but it's ultimately their decision, and I don't want to speak on their behalf.
Yeah. You're recruiting. I mean, you look at your roster, you have girls from all over the country. That's kind of what you have to do in gymnastics, right? Recruit everywhere.
Most definitely. We have athletes from Michigan, from New Jersey, from Dallas, Atlanta, all over.
Coach Spurrier and I do another podcast, and we were talking about this the other day, and football is different because you have a regular season SEC champion. Mm-hmm. But in gymnastics and basketball, baseball, softball, you have the regular season and then you have the postseason, the tournament. Mm-hmm. So y'all win the SEC regular season gymnastics title. Mm-hmm. I think Alabama won the SEC meet title. Right. Who gets the ring, hangs the banner? How do you determine who the champ is?
We both do. we get the ring. We get to hang the banner. It would have been doubly sweet. But really, the SEC, I mean, if you look at the rankings across the board for gymnastics, I think everybody was in the top 15. To compete every single weekend against a top 15 competitor, home or away on their land in their center, it's very challenging. So I would say that was a feat within itself to be able to, go undefeated all year long.
So I guess a couple of weeks ago, the regionals were held in Athens, Georgia. Y'all had to come from behind. Team showed a lot of grit. You've had some injury issues. Just talk briefly about what went on in that meet.
It was, first thing, regionals is a little bit different because we compete 2 days back to back. So that's very different than anything that we do all year long. When we go to nationals, it is another opportunity to compete back to back. So it's a preparation for that. It takes a lot out of you. Day one for the Gators, really just calm, stellar. They did a fabulous job, came out on top day 2. We started out a little rocky, and however, the team really didn't let, the external factors, the uncontrollables really get into them that I had noticed had happened at SECs. So I was really proud that they were able to learn from that experience and move forward. So even though we were behind, a lot of people didn't even know we were, that far back after our first rotation. They just kept focusing and doing what Gators know how to do. And that was, they just kept persevering and fighting. So ultimately it was a very challenging meet. There were a couple injuries in that competition that, contributed to even more emotions than, were already present. But in the end, the challenge, the adversity, this team's been through a lot, and they stood tall at the end.
So do you feel like you're going to be at full strength heading out to Texas?
We are down an athlete. However, I would say it hasn't been uncommon. It's not uncommon for most teams, in any sports and any, in athletics. So, that's difficult. However, everybody else should be pretty much full go. So Gators are ready to be strong and stand out on day 1 and get prepared to vie for a national championship.
So explain this to us, people that aren't real educated. We just watch gymnastics and that's about all we know. I think this is the second year for the national title meet. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's the correct answer, but there's 2 semifinals. You got 4 teams. You got California, us, Michigan, and Minnesota. And then the other semifinal is Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, and Utah. Do you like this format? Why did they change it? Thoughts on it?
It's a challenging format. However, it makes it a little bit easier for somebody who's not super familiar with gymnastics to be able to follow. Also, for television purposes, it's way easier for a spectator to follow. Before, we would have 6 teams within a competition, and we called them buys. So you would compete on an event and then you'd go to the back of the house and wait. It just really wasn't entertaining, as far as, being able to follow on television. So it really provides for great entertainment and, for everybody to be able to follow. And it's a little bit faster for the student athletes also. So we're not dragging out the meets as long. It's challenging, but you know what? That's what everybody prepares for, at the beginning of the season. And Gators are really just looking forward to an opportunity. We were not able to take part of this last year, and the year before we missed out on this opportunity. So we are ready to take full advantage of what is presented to us at this time.
No question about it. We're speaking with Jenny Rowland a few more minutes with here on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. Okay, I got to ask you this. This may be a silly question, but you got so much stuff going on at a gymnastics meet. I mean, you got the vault, the floor routine, and then you got this girl on this small little beam. And from a standpoint of how hard is it to concentrate with all the other stuff going on, noise, people cheering? Because, I mean, it's amazing to me what girls can do on this little balance beam. How hard is that?
It's very challenging. And, I mean, there are things that we do in gym and training, on a daily basis to help them be able to tune things out. If you've ever been in a practice, the music is blaring during a gymnastics practice. And there will be some times where we just turn it completely off if we're doing an inner squad, like a practice meet. So they can be able to adjust to both, super quiet and just music going. We'll have the team, next to the beam cheering as loud as they can, providing those distractions so where that each individual athlete can learn to focus on, what they've got to do and tune everything else out.
Yeah, I don't know how in the world they do that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So you mentioned that, some of your girls may have an opportunity if they decide to come back for another year. Talk a little bit about, gymnasts when they graduate from college. do they go on and participate doing other things? Because usually, I think if I'm not mistaken, most gymnasts want to compete in the Olympics, but those are usually like 15, 16-year-olds, it seems like. So what's usually the plan for a girl once she graduates out of your program?
Yes, I would say gymnastics is a unique sport in a sense that you typically don't go pro after college. After their college career is finished, typically, those athletes are finished. The physical toll, alone that, the sport takes on a body is challenging enough. And so usually after 4 years, and at that age, time is up. So really, it's important to me. It's important for my student athletes. They have the opportunity to come to a number 5 academic college school in the United States and get a fantastic education. So really, education is key to these student athletes. And we take a lot of pride, averaging, a 3.57, GPA with the team here at Florida. So once they graduate, they're going to go professional, but they're going to be a professional in whatever they want to be in and not necessarily athletics.
Yeah. Okay. So out of your semifinal, you got Cal, Michigan, and Minnesota. Who's the most dominant team out of that crew right there?
Well, Florida, of course.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying who do we have? Who is the biggest competition, I should say, out of that semifinal?
I'd say Michigan. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you had your pick after y'all win the semifinal on Friday, who would you like to compete against in the other semifinal?
Well, I know my team would love to compete against 2 SEC teams to just have a little redemption from our tournament. It's always great to compete against our SEC teams. So I'd say that's what my team would choose.
So you're going to be in an arena, the Dickies Arena there in Fort Worth, Texas. So tell us real quick, how many days in advance do y'all get there? And do you get an opportunity to practice in that arena?
Yeah. So with COVID, things are a little bit different. We're going out Tuesday evening to start our bubble period, within the NCAA. We get tested Monday. We'll go out there, get tested Wednesday. And then we will have an opportunity to train on Thursday before we compete Friday. So this competition is up on Podium. For those of who don't know what that is, all the equipment, it's really elevated. They're on risers on big platforms. So it elevates, the stage a little bit more for the spectators to see, makes it a lot more formal. You'll see international competitions do the same. So it's different. It's first class and really, really exciting competition.
All right, before we let you go, when you look at your roster, who, out of all the girls you've had this year, who has to perform at the highest level for the Gators to bring home the national title?
Well, I will never pinpoint one person because really this is a team sport and everybody's got to have each other's backs. But I will always say that I'll rely on my upperclassmen, our juniors, our senior class to, pave this way and really lead this team to what could be a great victory. And
all right, last thing before we let you go, you being a former gymnast yourself, do you get up there and you demonstrate at practice, different routines and things of that nature?
No. Unfortunately, physically, my body took a bit of a toll during my time as an athlete and 3 back surgeries later. I'm just really good at delegating, explaining, showing, and I just use my brain a little bit more.
That's awesome. Well, Jenny, we appreciate you taking the time to join our program. We wish the Gators a lot of luck out in Texas and hopefully bring home, what would be the 4th national title?
It would be a 4th national. It would be a 4th NCAA national title.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, good luck. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day. Go Gators.
You too. That's Jenny Rowland. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. We come back. We'll wrap up this edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Ava and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Harder Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Well, Rhett, before we let you go, we've had a million texts here, and a majority of the texts are, we got to hear some of Eric Rhett's favorite Spurrier stories.
Oh, wow, man. Let me see some of the craziest stories, man. I tell you what, though, I don't know if you remember when we had started carrying beepers. I don't know if a lot of people didn't have a beeper, but I remember when I was one of the first people with a beeper at the University of Florida. Then we got these little cell phones, and people were like, what do you need a cell phone for? What do you need? It was back in like 1990. No one had one. And I had this little beeper that I used to carry, and the coaches used to always beat me when they wanted me or needed me or whatever. And I remember leaving my beeper on vibration, and Spurrier wanted to talk to me, and it fell behind his chair, and where you couldn't see it, but everybody was beeping me, and he thought somebody put something. He was going crazy. He almost got the fire department down here. All he knows is that listen to just what, and it's like he don't know what this is. He's going crazy in his room. That little thing is vibrating. So, it's just so many memorable stories. I mean, it's like, this guy he's amazing to play for, man. It's like, I remember we were in Kentucky in 1993, man, and we're down, man. It's the last few seconds left in the game. Do you know, man, we're not even worried. I mean, it's to have a genius on the sideline calling plays or putting us in a position to win. We never worried. It was like, man, we're not worried. We'll come out of this. We're going to come out of this. We're not going to lose this game. And then it's like, I don't know how it happened when Danny threw that ball to Chris Dorn for that long pass down the middle for that touchdown. But it was like, man, it wasn't no panic. With 20 seconds left in the game, there was no panicking going on when it should have been like, man, we're about to lose to Kentucky, And it was just amazing. So stories like that, you remember, man, because this guy was just a, genius, and he allowed everybody to just get back there and compete, man. And it's no one day. Every day's a story with this guy. He's a competitor all the way until this day right now. I mean, he wants to compete. So that's what makes you a great person, when you compete.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At Center State Bank, we put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida, and understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. Center State Bank, member FDIC. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline, and also Jenny Rowland for taking time out of her busy schedule. We wish them a lot of luck out in Texas as they compete, try to bring home a national title. Remember, folks, follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can listen to us on 30 different digital platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many others out there. Hope you enjoyed the program today. Like I said, make sure you tell your friends and family about our show. The more, the merrier. Be safe out there, folks. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. We'll see you tomorrow.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.